Well, good evening and welcome to another edition of the Referees Corner right here on islandstats.com. I'm your host, Earl Baston, and joining me tonight will be several, I want to say referees. I wouldn't say youth referees, but several referees, along with a youth referee. I want to say welcome first to, I want to get this name right, Zion Watson?
Kian.
Keon.
Kian. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Keon Watson and obviously Mr. Lloyd Christopher. And also joining me on set is none other Dwight Jackson. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
We'll start off with you, young man. Refereeing, how have you found it thus far?
I found it good at first. Like at first, I was like, I'm not sure, but like as it got better, it got better and better.
Yeah. And what are your challenges as far as the game itself?
Blocking the criticism and make sure you get every call right.
Well, it's very difficult getting every call
Right.
right, but whatever you call
Yeah.
you deem is right. When you're out there, how difficult is it for you to stay focused on the game itself? Because it can be challenging at times. Isn't it?
Sometimes I do go to sleep. Sometimes like it's like a long one-sided game, but like
Mhm.
for the most part, I'm focused. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you prepare before a match? For a match?
I try to drink as much fluids as I can, and I try to like get in some stretches before the game.
Right.
And get some nice conditioning.
Right. Lloyd, as a former player,
Yeah.
going through what these young people are going through, they're trying to juggle both. We didn't have that when we were coming up. It was bad enough just trying to play because we were playing so many different forms of the game,
Correct.
school, weekends, and so forth. But if you had an opportunity to speak to some of these young people about the integral parts of a game and what they go through, what would you tell them?
What do you mean the integral?
Well, they're still trying to play
Right.
on the same day that they're officiating, so it's kind of double duty. One mental aspect is officiating the game. The next mental aspect is playing a game. So to flip between the two.
I think that this must be pretty difficult for these guys to, on one stage, you have to flip between the two because at one stage you're actually out there playing and you're not worried too much about the officiating, and then the other side of it, while you're officiating, you have to make sure that you're not quote unquote in the game and too caught up in the play, but you're more concerned about the officiating aspect of it.
Mhm.
So I know when I first started, it was a bit difficult. One of the difficult things was just trying to stay focused on the actual officiating and not watching the
Right.
play unfold.
Because that could also be a challenge. Would you agree, Dwight?
It's a definite different mindset from the transition of player to official. And oftentimes we have conversations, especially like with the youngsters, and then also with the adults newly being minted. That if you've played the game before, then it's a definite transition where you have to think as an official
Mhm.
as opposed to thinking as a player,
Yes.
because it's definitely two different dichotomies. So, but yeah, definitely you have to find some focus. Yeah.
And before you go on, one of the other benefits of being a player and a referee is that once these young guys, once they're being joined referees a few games, and now they're actually playing the game,
Mhm.
they have a better understanding of the laws of the game.
Absolutely.
And they could also transfer that knowledge to their teammates. Because if something happens, they could tell their teammates, oh, this is why that happened. Because sometimes players just go at referees for the sake of going at referees.
Right. Right. Do you find that?
Player,
Yes.
because it's definitely two different dichotomies. So, but yeah, definitely you have to find some focus.
And what are some of the things you have
yeah.
to, or
And one of the other benefits of being a player and a referee is that
right.
once these young guys, once they're being joined referees a few games, and now they're
are now going from the officiating side to the player side, do you find yourself telling your teammates why a call was made? Because some of them really overreact.
Yeah, sometimes I do, but for the most time I just ignore it.
Oh, okay, all right. And do you guys notice the young people that are involved in officiating are more helpful when it comes to making a call, or when I say making a call, because they'll tell their teammate about, that was a foul due to the law of the game. Do you guys find that?
Well, I'll acquiesce to Lord first. Yeah.
No, you go ahead.
But I find it's a matter of trust. Trust is a component as well. So, but with the youngsters knowing and appreciating and them wanting to know more about the laws of the game, yes, they're more amenable to. Okay, yes, I understand that.
Mhm.
But hey, officiating is all about building relationships. So it's a lot of back of the scenes, behind the curtains, where prior to the game you make your friends before you need them.
Mhm.
So I mean that's what I do.
Right.
So but yeah, the laws, people are being more agreeable to. Okay, yes, I understand that now because we used to think that football exploded before, but I
Right.
think it's more because it's more televised. It's all in your face now. I mean, football is year round now.
Mhm.
That people, that's the sport.
Right.
So everybody wants to be a part of it, and they're tuned in, and so on and so on.
Mhm. No?
Easy, next question.
Right,
I love my channel.
no worries, no worries.
Sorry.
When you guys are now, because I often ask the youngsters, how do they prepare to officiate a game? The night before, when we were youngsters, all we worried about was getting ready to play the game. But now it's a little different, So when you're preparing the night before, now that you guys are just officiating, probably playing a little masters here and there, but when you're just officiating, how are you preparing just so he can hear what you guys are doing to ensure that maybe he can start doing that if he's got to officiate a game first and then play later?
Well, it's interesting that he had mentioned the liquids and the fluids.
Mhm.
So that's a prerequisite. That's a must. But the training, the physical training during the week, that's purposeful. And when we used to play, it wasn't just training on those particular nights. It was the actions that you had to do.
Mhm.
So if you want to put in a good performance, you have to put in the physical aspect for your personal life, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's going for a little run, whatnot. Now the other side of the bowl game is the mental aspect. Now once you get your assignment of who you're going to officiate
Mhm.
against, or whatever, especially if you're in the middle, hey, you recall what happened the last time.
Mhm.
You try and do some fact finding. What am I in for? Then it's like probably just going over your book again, the laws of the game,
Mhm.
but realize the personnel that you're going to be in charge of for that 90 minutes, knowing who's the key people, who you might have to deal with,
Mhm.
circumstances that might come up, and so on and so on from past dealings, and so on and so on. But like it's all mental, so that you are prepared for the whatever.
Mhm.
And I would say most part of it, once you've got the physical out of the way, is the mental aspect, and staying focused, and being prepared, and having those extra tools in your belt as a negotiator, as a relationship person, as putting out small fires before they start, and so on and so on during the course of that game. And so that's for me. I don't want to take up too much time, but that's
Right.
for me.
Right.
That's my preparation.
Right.
On top of that, one of the things that I also do is I also think about who the team is I am going to be working with. Who are going to be my assistant referees,
Right.
who's going to be my match commissioner.
Exactly.
Just what Jackson said, who are the teams that are actually going to be out there on the field, and the players. And also I also think about what field I'm going to be playing on. because like while it's depending on the field, I knew I'm not even if we have to be there an hour before,
Mhm.
I know that this field right here in the past has had a lot of sinks in the field that need to be filled up.
Right.
So I know I'm gonna look for that even more on this particular field
Mhm.
than I do the other fields.
Right.
I knew on this particular field that the lines may be a little bit big, so I'm gonna keep that in mind. And I knew that prior to getting there, because some fields the lines aren't marked
Right.
the way how the field aren't marked, but the way how they should
Right.
be marked.
Right.
So that's another aspect of preparation in addition to the actual coming into contact with the actual players.
Right. Right. Now, when we were young, we all remember the antics of coaches such as Randy Horton.
Yes.
How do you think that someone like Randy would be handled today?
I don't think it would be that difficult to handle somebody like Randy because he's very respectful.
Mm-hmm.
Because he would understand the laws of the game. He would also understand how far it is that he can go.
Right.
And if he goes cross that, then he knows what sanctions going to be coming to him.
Right.
And he'll just accept
Right.
that sanction. He might blow up, but he'll still accept that sanction.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that because he's a very passionate coach.
Yes.
I don't think it would be that difficult to manage someone like him.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some coaches who are very vocal, and they continue on to be vocal when you explain to them to try to calm them down.
Mm-hmm.
In that mind, they still just want to get their point across.
Right.
And those are the ones that are more challenging than somebody like Randy Horton.
Mm-hmm.
So I think even though he's very vocal, he'll be a lot more respectful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you cannot confuse. You know, I don't know if I'm being contradictory to what Lloyd's saying, but you cannot confuse passion
Mm-hmm.
with disrespect,
Right.
in my opinion.
Right.
So I think that with regard to that sentiment, as officials, we can't acquiesce
Mm-hmm.
because I think that coach, because I think it's human nature. If you think that you can get over on somebody,
You're gonna cry.
that's your nature.
Yeah.
That's what would happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they will respect you more if you come back at them, whether it's with a stern warning, a yellow card, or whatever, just to reel your corner.
Mm-hmm.
And after that game is over, all right, ref. I mean, everything's okay.
Right.
But I think that you have to hold to your principles. You have to hold your corner.
Mm-hmm.
Colloquialism, and just say like, we ain't having none of that today.
Right. Young man, do you encounter very vocal coaches or parents on the sideline?
No.
No?
Not for the young blood, but for the older blood, yes.
Yeah. And how do you manage that? How do you deal with it?
I try to block as much as possible, and I don't really care as much. I just try to fix it again.
Oh, okay. Okay. And has it been working for you?
Yes.
That's a rough dude.
But the good thing about it is that it always seems to be someone on the sideline that is a peacemaker
Yeah,
and would say to a parent or a coach, hey, it's a youngster trying to help you out. You know, you don't need to behave in that manner, or, you know, quieten down sort of thing. So in that regard, there's always that one person. Now, for you guys, it's a little different because when one person starts chirping, it seems like more and more people kind of go on that bandwagon.
Well, but you know what I find? I find from game to game, and I mentioned trust
Mhm.
before, right? I find that once you win certain people's trust, and I'm talking fans,
Yeah.
right? Then they tend to be a armor bearer or whatever
Right.
for being the peacemaker.
Mhm.
No, listen, because I experienced that yesterday where I didn't hear them,
Right.
but someone was saying that person's offside, the ref didn't know this thing is, and the person came to me afterwards, a prominent person in the community, and said, "Listen, Jackson had your back." I had to tell them, no, the reason why I didn't pull offside is because he hasn't touched the ball yet, or
Right,
whatever,
right.
or whatever the case may be, or whatever,
Mhm.
right? So I find that once you build that rapport from your actions on the field,
Mhm.
then it transfers over because people watch you. You may not think like people are taking note
Right.
or whatever, and even beyond the rah.
Mhm.
People are still taking note, and once that 90 minutes is over, hey, more than likely they come to you, hey, good job, sir. And I'm sure you've experienced that.
Yes.
Mm. Your game on Saturday,
Uh-huh.
obviously, you had to blow your whistle twice for infringement in the box. You also had, which I felt was the right decision, the sending off.
Great calls.
There was a lot of people who disagreed with me. I don't have a problem with that,
Mhm.
but the rules are the rules in place.
Loss,
Um,
loss.
the laws. I'm sorry. And the one thing I could always say is that the player himself knew because he turned around and walked away, right away, sort of thing. He didn't stand around posing and arguing his. He understood the law. He committed the offense, and he was penalized for it.
Mhm.
You know. I just think how do you handle that thick skin thing, because you're hearing it from both sides. Yeah, because the one when the foul is committed, everybody's saying he should be sent off on one side, and the other side saying no, it shouldn't have been, and then it's vice versa. Once it happens, this side's now saying a bad call referee. It's the same thing for the penalty kicks. How do you block that noise out and just kind of tune into what's being done on the field?
Yeah, sometimes you have to block it up, like you said, it's coming from both sides.
Yeah.
Send them off,
Right.
or no, don't send them off.
Mhm.
And then also in your mind, you just have to be thinking of what does the laws
Right.
of the game say
Right.
with regards to that type of offense. Because I would say denying an obvious goal scoring
Oh yes,
opportunity.
yeah. Trying to explain that to some people was very difficult on Saturday.
Yeah, and so in my mind, I'm processing
Mhm.
in that split second. Well, actually, there was an infringement, so I blew the whistle.
Yes.
So from the time I blew the whistle to the time I walked up to the player and pulled the sanction out of my pocket,
Yes.
I'm going through.
Watch
it's-
the place.
What was it? Was it a yellow card or
Uh-huh.
was it a red card offense?
Mhm.
So by the time I get there, okay, it's a red card offense. So I explained to him it's a red card offense, and
Right.
there's the sanction.
Right.
There's nothing that I could do about it because
Yeah.
the laws of the game say. And some of the players were saying, that could just be a yellow.
Right.
I said, no, it's not a yellow because they were denying. So even though I don't have to explain my reasoning,
Yes.
sometimes
Sometimes
I
it's
do,
best to
sometimes I
just-
do, yeah, but I don't keep on
Right.
explaining. I just do one or two and then that's it.
Mhm,
Decisions
mhm.
made and
In my general conversation with a few people that were near me, and I explained to him, well, he denied a clear goal scoring opportunity, and I then had to realize that some people don't fully understand the law, because the question came back to me was, well, he hadn't beaten the goalkeeper. So I realized, you know what, this conversation, it's going to need time, and I don't have that time. So let me just stop the conversation right there, and hopefully somebody does have time to explain just that to.
and on that, see how that person came to you?
Mhm.
Players come to us referees
Right.
because they don't fully understand the laws of the game.
Right, right.
So they do the exact same thing.
Mhm.
So the way how you just not brushed aside that,
Right.
but just ignored and just moved on.
Right.
That's how we as referees have to just to move on
Right.
in the game. Because if we try to explain every incident,
Yeah,
then
you
it's-
game be stuck.
it's-
It'd
it's better, of course.
be longer than the VAR incident.
Yeah.
But to my knowledge, you guys get an opportunity, or some of the officials get an opportunity to go to clubs prior to the season starting to explain rules and regulations, and then there are times where players, coaches, people don't even show up.
Yeah.
But then you get into a game situation, and the first thing is, well, I watched it on TV yesterday and it was different.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, no two incidents or infringements are the same.
Yeah.
Because even during the game, and I'm sure all referees go through this.
Hmm.
You gave that player a yellow card.
Yes.
I'm going to give this one. It was
Yes.
for the exact same thing. He
Right.
pushed me,
Right.
and I pushed him, and you penalized me and not him.
Hmm.
The ball hit his hand, boy, handball. Hit his hand, but it wasn't a handball.
Right.
You're biased, right? You're biased.
I remember it was a few minutes after you had sent off the Eagles player. It was an infringement outside the Rangers box, but where the player had beaten and we still have one player to beat, and the player brought him down. Not the last player, but the guys reacted as if you just sent him off
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
And again, I said, but if you realize there was another player behind them, yeah, but it was just the goalkeeper. I said, no, it wasn't. It was another player just behind him. So you're right. No two things are the same, but people only see what they want to see. And you guys having to manage that on the field becomes that much more challenging.
Yeah, and then one of my other games, again, yesterday I had, ball was up to the forward, play got moved over, so my attention went over to where play was.
Right.
So he claimed that once play had moved over, he claimed the defender had pushed him.
Right.
I'm saying, how do you expect me to see that? Because I need to keep up with play and follow the play.
Right.
I can't see that as well. And he was like upset that I didn't see it. I'm saying, like, come on, John.
Yeah. But anyway, that's how it goes. When do you find out what games do you have?
Like a day, no, 2 days before.
Right.
2 days before.
Okay. Where have you officiated thus far? Here or with the stadium?
Both.
Oh, yeah.
And Somerset a lot too.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes PAC.
Right. Now, how do you find yourself when you first started? Are you more confident nowadays in blowing the whistle?
Yes.
Yeah. Does that come from just doing more games?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like when I got more games, I got more confident and I just started playing.
Right. Like you feel confident that what I'm blowing for is the right thing.
Yes. Like the first game I had, I did not play whistle like barely any game.
What's in?
So you go home and you evaluate yourself. You say, what do you tell yourself? You gotta blow the whistle. You gotta, yeah. If you put your hand up, you gotta, yeah. So now you're confident in your calls and understanding, and sometimes having to explain because you just heard these two gentlemen talk about.
Explain sometimes whenever I feel like they go a lot, and sometimes the on the levels.
Because they think they know it all. Yeah. Not to worry. As they get older, you still have to explain it. You still have to explain it. Dwight, what challenges have you faced thus far this season, as far as managing a game?
No real challenges. All right, I have to be honest. No real challenges. I think if I really want to nitpick, the challenge when that particular team obviously hasn't trained for the week.
Hasn't prepared properly.
Has not. That's a major challenge that becomes apparent during the course of the game, because after 10 or 15 minutes, they're begging for everything, and you're saying, "Come on, guys!" And so that becomes more tedious in man management. But hey, it's part of the course.
Yeah. What about you, Lloyd?
Actually, I was just thinking about that when you asked White that question. One of my biggest challenges is just staying fit. Staying fit and healthy.
Stop.
Yeah, babe, what do you want to do?
Yes.
Because at the beginning of the season,
Uh-huh.
I was fine.
Right.
So I done the very first game, I done the charity.
Right.
Then I did not do another game until probably about 6 weeks later.
Oh.
Why? Because of injury.
Right.
I picked up an injury.
Oh, your injuries, not your fitness, your injuries.
It's the same game.
That's
Injury,
it.
fitness.
I count that being different because it's very fit.
Right.
Very fit.
Yeah. Well, to run Whitehall Field on Saturday and then run Wellington Noble on
Sure.
Sunday.
See that there?
And 2 hot days too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I do want to thank you very much for your time, and I think we've enlightened people on different situations as far as officiating in Bermuda, both pros and cons of it, and look forward to educating more people on the rules of the game as we go along throughout the season.
Can I just give a shout out?
Sure.
I'd give a shout out to Cranston Williams. He's our chairman.
Yes.
And the job that he has done in trying to bring in grassroots young personnel into our ranks can only bode well for the future. And proof is in the pudding with Mr. Watson now.
Okay. All right. Well, and also we want to say happy belated birthday to Mr. Williams as well.
Sure.
Yes,
Yeah. So, folks,
It was a beautiful month.
I think your birthday is enough there with you. All right.
And yours.
Mine's September.
September. Okay,
23rd.
okay.
Oh, I didn't mean to say that. Well, do enjoy the rest of your night. Signing off from the referee's corner here on IslandStats.com.